Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Okay, this is part 2 of a 2-part series replacing the front wheel bearings on this 96 Ford Ranger with 2-wheel drive. As I said in the first one, this procedure is generally the same for most vehicles that have the roller bearings in the front. And another quick look at the tools you'll need. The sizes on this list are for the Ranger, and so if you're using this video to guide you in a different type of vehicle, then probably some of the sizes as far as the sockets and things will be different. Okay, in part 1 of this video, we took care of removing the brakes and the rotor, and we also had removed the races, the rear seal on the races, and now we're going to pick up with reassembling the rotors and reinstalling everything. And now we're going to clear this of grease. Okay, so I'm going to take our new bearing race, okay, and the thicker end goes inside. Okay, this socket is just a tiny bit smaller than the race itself. Okay, I put it down in there. This side's just a little lower, so when I first tap it, I'm going to tap it and get that side started. Okay, and just kind of check, make sure it's going down there pretty evenly. Okay. Okay, and when it's nice and solid, give it a couple taps and make sure it's in there correctly. Make sure that the line all the way around is nice and even. Okay, and it's in there all the way. Nice clean paper towel. Try and wipe this out. You don't have to get every little speck of grease, but just make sure there's no dirt or anything in there. Thicker side goes down in first. Okay, I do have to have a proper bearing installation tool or the race installation tool. Okay, and what you can see me do here is I've put the race down in there and just give it a couple taps. I just want to make sure that it's going in nice and straight, and then once I'm confident that it's going in properly, I hit it harder. And you do need some type of metal tool that's slightly smaller than the bearing race. You cannot do this with a wood block or anything like that, but a very large socket would work just like on the front side. As I said, I do happen to have the correct tools to put that in. Okay, and even after inspecting it and confident that it's in, I give it a couple more good taps to make sure. Okay, I'll take some good quality bearing grease. Okay, put it right in. You don't want to get too much on the race surface. I'm more putting it kind of in the middle of the hub. And then I kind of clear off the race surface with my finger. Okay, now the bearing, I just take it scrape it off into this channel here, press it in. Okay, same thing with the front side. Kind of press it into that crack. Get it on the roller surfaces. Again, not a ton here. You don't want it nice, all thick and globby. You just kind of want to coat them. Okay. And then same thing with this inside surface. Take any out that's extra and just leave a film. Okay, so you can see here on the race surface itself, I'm just leaving a film. Okay. And then just drop the bearing in. Okay, and again, make sure on the inside of this surface it's basically just a film as well. Okay, now you want to put your seal in. Okay, put that down. Put a piece of paper towel over it so no dirt gets down there. And then a piece of wood or something will do the same trick. Okay, there we go. Let's turn this back over. Take some grease. Kind of pack it in on the inside here. Okay, and then put a film again, just a film on the bearing race there. Okay, so we've got our outer bearing. Grease into the crevices. Okay, and then coated the roller bearing side. Put our roller on. Insert the bearing. Okay, if you like, take a little bit of grease, stuff it in there again, right around, and then again, pull out the excess, put our washer on. Okay, put that back on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tighten it. Okay, we're going to roll the rotor a little bit. Keep tightening it until it's pretty well seated. This just makes sure that you kind of squish the grease out of the way and the bearings get a good seat. Okay, now we're going to back it off. Okay, and then we're going to pull it probably to about 3 to 4 foot-pounds, not very tight at all. Okay, and then we're going to put this back on, put our cotter pin down through. Okay, bend it up, around. Okay, nice clean paper towel first. Make sure the front and back surfaces of our rotors are clear of grease. Okay, now use some mineral spirits for brake parts cleaner. And really clean the rotor surface. There's no grease at all. Okay, on this bracket, you want to make sure that these are nice and free. If they're not, you can actually just pull them out. Okay, clean them and grease them, and then put them back in.
Okay, and we'll just speed it up here as we put that bracket back on and use the 2 larger 15mm bolts to start it.
Okay, tighten these bolts to 80 foot-pounds. Now you want to push these pistons back into the caliper. So take your old pad, you can just kind of put it on there like that, a large C-clamp. Okay. And the pad takes care of making sure the pressure is on both of the pistons. And push them back in as far as they'll go. Okay, so again, our pads are in fine shape, so we'll just put the old ones back in. Put them in like that. And bring your caliper down. Okay, you'll have to push in on your slide bolts here. Get the caliper in place. Take your bolts. You might twist those slides a little bit. Get your bolts started. Okay, these bolts don't have to be too tight. They really just hold things in place. The correct torque is probably about 12 to 15 foot-pounds. I'm just going to tighten them firm with this smaller wrench. Tire back on.
Okay, I'm going to thread the lug nuts on by hand just to make sure that they don't cross thread, and then I'm going to tighten them preliminarily with my impact wrench.
Okay, with the tire on and preliminarily tightened, you want to just take it and kind of shake it and look for any play in that bearing at all. You shouldn't see any. If you see a little play, then you'll want to tighten up your nut a little more. It looks good there. So we'll put our dust cap back in place.
Okay, now we're going to torque the lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds each, and then we'll put our center cap back on. Before road testing, make sure your brakes are working properly. Pump them up a bunch of times to reset the pistons in the calipers, and then do test stops from 5 miles an hour and 10 miles an hour before your road test. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.